Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time doing another film review, and this one is on Futurama, Bender's Big School. Now, as you know, Futurama, Bender's Big School was a 2007 science fiction comedy film, which of course was meant to be the starting point to the first revival of basically Futurama. And keep in mind that, yeah, the point of some of the films, like, say, Bender's Game, also like The Beast Billions Back, and that were meant to be comprised of, say, Season 5. And the best way I can describe Season 5 is there to try and show people that Futurama is back, we're trying to do something different, and of course is meant to try and fit and sort of understand the audience from 2007 after basically 2003, where Futurama ended on August the 10th, 2003. And the premise of the film, Bender's Big School, is meant to follow 2 years after Fox Network executives cancelled Planet Express. We see how they end up getting their contract back. They end up kind of doing their normal today jobs until they get scammed by a trio of alien-like scammers. And right away, we kind of see where it's trying to fit this more modern formula, pointing out the dangers of scammers, how there can come a lot of unnecessary problems, and a lot of issues that you didn't ask for. And of course, the film points out right away that it is trying to fit to a new audience that obviously is trying to cater to. And it kind of becomes clear right away. They start to kind of disregard previous continuity. It kind of becomes clear they start to do a newfound thing with time travel. And right away, we kind of see the whole time travel cliche, where Professor Emsworth kind of points out the dangers of paradoxes. We kind of see how Fry brings up the whole Roswell incident that obviously the professor doesn't want to bring up, and it kind of becomes clear that it's trying to be a clean slate, doing something different for the audience, and right away you know where it's going to go. It's going to have Leela and Fry in their sort of building up love relationship, even though the final episode from season 4, The Devil Hands Are Idle Playthings, points out a hard truth more from the season final, that, well, obviously Fry and Leela's relationship couldn't really happen. It's just knowing someday that it could, and I think it leaves it on that perfect note. Here, it is trying to rely on this whole plot twist, this whole, oh no, that didn't happen, oh no, this didn't happen, or basically some random plot twist that's trying to fit into a different tone that clearly the audience are trying to kind of be more catered to. And I think it becomes clear that the whole point, I think, with show revivals is that it's trying to fit to a different tone, a different feel, and a different setting that the audience are clearly going to get annoyed by, fed up by, or just don't really seem to kind of figure things out too quickly. And I think the problem with the whole alien scammers, they're just there to obviously be the whole trio villains with nothing new or interesting. And I can kind of get, obviously, pointing out the whole Fox Network thing is obviously Matt Groening explaining his frustrations with how Futurama got cancelled. And this does remind me a bit of Dana Terrence doing her show Knights of Guinevere, calling out Disney for screwing her over, and obviously being more frustrated with what Disney did to her show, The Owl House. and it kind of becomes clear that the film is trying to fit and set to a different setting that obviously is trying to understandably fit to a new generation of audiences, but it kind of becomes clear that Bender's Big School is the starting point to the dangers of, obviously, the dangers of show revivals, trying to fit into a different audience, and of course, trying to do a lot of questionable things regarding to tone, story, casting, and so forth. So I think to me, Bender's Big School is one of those films that's trying to fit to a different audience. It kind of ruins what I think made season 4's final work, and it kind of becomes clear it's relying on a different tone, a different setting, and a different feel that takes away what I think made the original run of Futurama work. Not the best, not the greatest, but it definitely deserves 2 thumbs in the middles. Kind of alright, kind of okay, just there to point out the dangers of being a bit too needy for a show to come back, doing questionable things with tone, story, and a different setting, and of course, showing what can happen when you try to go back to a sort of different route that you aren't going to be familiar with after so many years. So, comic book reviewer here, signing out.